can't.
Listen, I had to do it because I don't want people to think, oh, that girl's a monster. She's a bully. Look at that sweet girl just holding a book. She made a tap for it.
You're right. Hey guys, I'm Syretta.
I'm Nikki.
And we're your favorite sisters. Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Welcome back if you're returning.
We're happy that you're here.
So, finishing up the year, we thought it was only fitting to round up our last day with our favorite audiobooks of the year.
And it's hard, y'all, because just like all of our books, we love our audios. So we had to break it down in categories yet again, or we would be here all night.
All night. Did you feel like this one was kind of hard for you since we did like favorite books and favorite audios, and you do a majority of audiobooks?
I kind of felt like I'm getting over because
I thought it would be harder for you, and you're like, no, this is where I thrive.
That's what I thought yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm getting over on her ass. I don't gotta pick. I can pick some now and some till tomorrow. But then I realized, like, wait, this is actually really hard because of the categories. It really makes you think, and it has me thinking that I need to take some time to venture out and try to find more new narrators.
And see, that surprised me because I thought, at the least with the narrators, you would have an advantage because you listen to way more audiobooks than me. And you're always like, oh, I know that author. Oh, I know that narrator. Oh, I know that narrator. Like, I just feel like
I do know them, but on books that have become my favorite or things that I return to, it's always the same people.
Right.
So that's where it's like I need to try to adventure out. Yes.
I definitely realized that with this as well, that as vast as our audiobook collection is, the stuff that I listen to regularly or just go to are the same people.
Yes.
So working on that in 2023. So do you want to start?
Yeah. What's our first category?
The first category is favorite audiobook performance. So for this category, it's about how that narrator read that story, how they said certain words, how they breathed, how they giggled, how they chuckled. It's the performance for us. And I want to know who you got.
So I love dual narrators. I love when there's a male narrator and there's a female narrator. I like when there's two parts. I like when it's two females or two males, vice versa. I really love to get two because it just
really brings it.
It enhances it, you know? So this audio performer that I have chosen is bomb. They always give 110%. I feel like they leave everything on the floor, right down to the accents or, I mean, just everything. I really feel like this narrator puts everything on the line.
I feel like I know who it is. Go ahead.
So my performance.
I know who it is, don't I? Go ahead.
I feel like you do, but I'm not going to let you take me there. It's Jakobi Diem.
I knew who it was.
And I chose Jakobi Diem because of the Black series. I felt like Jakobi was everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a word to describe what that man did with that series. It
was a one-man show that didn't feel like a one-man.
Yes, it was truly a performance. It was by Joan Vassar. All 5 books together is 76 hours and 17 minutes. Why are you laughing?
Because it tickles me that you literally add up all the time. It's cute. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I love these stories so much. Jakobi did an Irish accent. He was a white slaver. I mean, he was women. He was men. I mean, he was everything. He did children's voices. Jakobi was everything. This was like a vocal performance like no other. Top freaking tier. I listen to this series all the time. I love historical fiction, and this one gives a hood edge to it. And to me, you don't usually get that. So it's one of my very favorite things. So sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I need to hear Black. I need to hear Albert. So because I do go back and forth between them all so much, I've decided to give you guys my favorite chapters.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
So in Black, my favorite chapter is chapter 6. That is when, I'm not going to tell y'all everything, but that is when our girl Sunday took a stand. She took her womanhood into her own hands, and I really appreciated that. When it comes to Elber, it is chapter 3 for me. It's chapter 3. If you have read Elber, you know about chapter 3. You know that in my ear, Jakobi said some very interesting things to me, and I liked it. And then it goes to James, and then James was actually a 20-hour book, so in that amount of time a lot can happen. It's super multi-plot, so I have 2 chapters for James. The first chapter is chapter 5. Listen, I mean, it was his growl. The man sounded tortured. He literally gave, this is everything. And then chapter 22. If you have ever read James's story, you know that chapter 22 is a chapter that you will never, ever forget.
What happens in chapter 22?
It's dirty. Y'all need to go get it. Y'all need to go run and get to that chapter 22, okay? And then we have Anthony, and I love Anthony.
I know what chapter it is.
Is it
your
chapter
favorite
3?
line? It's your
my
favorite line,
y'all. I'ma just give it to y'all. I'm sorry. Anthony says, "Woman, I've been inside you. Ain't no man finna trail me." Listen, I hear that, Anthony.
Okay, this is setting the tone, so let's just get this out the way right now. This video is meant for educational purposes and educational purposes only. We are discussing books. In no way is any words, characters, names, descriptions meant to hurt, damage, bully, or attack anyone, or to be crude and potty language. It's just meant for educational purposes.
The next one is The Fort. Let me tell you guys one thing. I cannot give you a chapter for The Fort. I cannot, because that story needed to be constantly going through. So I do not have a chapter for The Fort because The Fort takes my whole mind. I cannot separate it. This series was everything, and Jakobi truly turned it into a movie. The way he narrated it, it was like I felt like I could turn on Netflix and watch it. Everything was top tier, you guys. Yes. I love this. I will listen to this before I put on the TV. That's how good he did. And I feel like, I don't know, the man deserves an Audi for this.
Yes.
So that's what it was for me.
My best performance was Jakobi Diem for the Black series.
Okay.
Really like Joan.
You picked this one yesterday.
Hello? Did you read the series?
Okay, tell me more. What did you like about this story, Nikki?
Well, one thing I liked, I didn't feel like only one person was reading the story. It felt like it was a whole cast. Because it didn't matter. Like, you could pick up one book, pick a page, boom, pick the same page. And they are going to sound seamless. The voices were consistent. They were tight. They were on point. He didn't just give the men different voices. He didn't just do accent. The women had different voices. Like, the story isn't like Black's point of view, Jane's point of view. It's just the story being told. And you know who's speaking before it is said. Because of the tone, because of the voice. Like, I don't know how he transformed his voice, but it did not sound like the same person.
No, it did not.
He performed like every single
and
book.
Made it effortless.
He did. Like, it was so seamless. You got accents. You got you got new characters, and it was always consistent from book 1 to 5. It was just, it was perfection. Like, it was perfection. He brought the story alive. Like,
I can't wait to see how many other ones that we have that are the same. Why did you let me say all of that when you had the same thing? Because you could have just chimed in. Now
I did chime in. I said he's a one-man show that doesn't feel like a one-man. Like, it's just, the story is already so beautifully written. Like, and Jakobi just enhanced it to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was perfect. Like, there was nothing bad to be said about the story, which is why it was there yesterday, or the audio, which is why it's here today. Okay? Perfection. It just, but that level of dedication and just artistry, Jakobi brings to all his performances. Mm-hmm. Like, but this right here, he showed out disrespectfully. Like,
yes,
you talk about EJ, okay?
I can't.
I'm just like, perfection. It's perfection. Like, there's nothing else to be said.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's only fitting to also incorporate, because as you mentioned, we love dual narrators. Mm-hmm. And when you got more than two, like, it just feels like a production. Every bit of it, it brings it to life, you know? Mm-hmm. So we have to talk about our favorite dynamic duos. I already know yours. Don't waste our time.
What is it?
Wesleigh, Siobhan, and Emmanuel Ingram from the Hopeless Reckless series. Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong, and then I can say, oh, but you talked about it yesterday.
So
I love Delvin. Go ahead. So literally, I'm gonna be shook if it's not this.
My dynamic duo,
shook it.
Is Wesleigh, Siobhan, and Emmanuel Ingram.
And
I chose the book Free Game for them by Kema B. It was 4 hours and 36 minutes.
Let me just chime in right now. My dynamic duo is Wesleigh, Siobhan, and Emmanuel Ingram, and I chose Free Game by Kema B. You looked at my list, didn't you?
I wrote my list at work, you guys.
You were feeling real shorty because you had to do list in a day. And I was like, I was literally going to pick My Muted Love, and I was like, no, because she's going to pick it. Free Game was like that. So I'm going to do Free Game.
Like that, y'all. They are bomb together, and we haven't seen Emmanuel in a while, so when they hit this one out, I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, they play
off
together.
each other so well. Freedom! Hey, Freedom!
It's that scene in the hallway of the club for me.
Listen, y'all, that he is so bomb as Freedom, and I feel like he fits the character so well.
Yes,
and Wesleigh,
they really gave the character so much personality.
Wesleigh will always Wesleigh. Like, no one is touching her. Mm-hmm. And them together is so
pure magic.
Solid.
It's pure magic. They just sound so good together. It's just music in your ears.
And they are my dynamic duo. I feel like there's nothing they don't touch that won't turn to gold.
Right. They just their voices complement each other so well. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that they have a good, like, work relationship. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost as if they truly know each other.
Yeah, it's just so seamless. It's so flawless. Like, I love them together. They are my dynamic duo of 2022.
Yes.
For both My Muted Love and Free Game.
So
Kema B, you did your thing right in this
one.
It
was them for me.
They never disappoint.
This story was so bomb. It was so sexy. It was so free. It wasn't like a regular rapper story.
Yes.
He didn't fit in the box. I really loved it.
I love the way she wrote the characters as well, especially Isis, because sometimes when some authors write like those liberated women, you know, so free-spirited and embracing their sexuality and their femininity, and it can be too much. Like, they just come off as B words, okay. You know. But Isis was just the perfect level of I don't care, but still soft and approachable. Like,
I mean, Wesleigh,
had a good heart.
She embodied her.
She did.
Like,
she
even down to the little attitude when you're talking to your homegirl. Mm-hmm. Everything about it was everything. Wesleigh never holds anything back.
Never.
She always
leaves
gives
it on the floor.
You know that there's going to be a different voice for each person. Mm-hmm. I feel like she genuinely puts her all into it. You can tell that Wesleigh loves what she does.
Yes. And while we're here, Miss Kema B, will her friend, I can't think of the friend's name now.
The one that was dating.
Yes. Will she get a story? Because I want to know who she's secretly
friend.
Getting. Yes. I want to know who she's secretly meeting up with.
And can it be on audio? And can you also get Wesleigh and Emmanuel?
They never disappoint.
I'm asking for a friend. Hi.
We're the friends. I think it's only fair, though, while we're talking about our faves, our diehards, tried and trues, to also talk about the people that stood out, that were new, that now they are in our instant listens. Who you got for your new favorite narrator?
So my new favorite narrator is Darryl Lewis. I really, really like him. I met him in the Chronicles, the Married Men Chronicles, Volume 1.
By A.A. Lewis herself.
By A.A. Lewis. This audio was 2 hours and 40 minutes. She is Darryl's wife. So it's like so tight. Like she's writing the stories. He's narrating the stories. She also narrates. He was 4 different men, and I would have never known. I would have never known. He did an amazing job with this audio.
Yes, and it was like into them their voices like
it was nothing. And the thing was, they weren't accented, but they were different men. Yes. Like one had more of a slurred speech, one had more of a hood tone, the other one had more of a laid back turn. He was more of a hippie. Like I mean, and one was ignorant.
Yeah, and their voices truly fit the characters.
They matched them perfectly, as if he sat down and created voices just for them.
Yes, like not just voices he has to just whip out when he needs them.
It
like
was just
it was
for
categorized for each character. I completely agree.
To me, it was such a standout, and I really, really liked it. I felt like when you're a pop out narrator and a male for sure, you really have to really bring it, because you're also doing women's voices. For women, it's okay for us just to lower our voice and act like a dude. But for a man, you have to speak higher, and and I felt like he really did that.
And isn't that book duetted?
Yes, and it is also a duet. It is mostly from the male point of view, so you got more of him than you did A.A. Lewis.
Amazing. Was it hard for you to find new to you narrators? Because you are constantly listening. Like, was it hard?
So it wasn't hard, because there's constantly new narrators. The issue is I needed to get out and read other authors.
Right.
So once I started reading other authors, because now there's so many authors that are putting books out on audio, they're also introducing new narrators, and that really helps.
That makes sense. So we do not have the same new to us narrator.
Finally. Okay, who you got?
My favorite new to me narrator is Trei Taylor.
Oh, Trei's good.
So
is a good, but I feel like I hear her so much now that I can't say she's new to me.
And see, the thing is, I probably wouldn't have even realized or picked her had we not have done Tempted by Danger this year. So Tempted by Danger by Endiya Carter, and it was narrated by Trei Taylor and Winston James. And I remember it so vividly because I had read that book like weeks before before the audio came out, and I loved it. Like I was obsessed. So I was like, I'm going to, even though I know I'm going to try not to be over criticizing, I'm going to criticize them so hard because I don't know the word. I'm not going to overly critique. Is what I wanted not to do, but I know that I was going to because I love that book. So I went in, I was like, oh, okay. She did real good picking y'all. It was them. They fit perfect. And I had already listened to Winston James, but so Trei Taylor, like Quincy, was such an eccentric character. She was so unique, and she was so passionate, and she was so fun and young and vibrant, and she just captured that.
She did do a good job.
They
were nice together.
She captured Wincy.
They were cute together, though. Yes. I liked their voices. They melded well.
Yes, but I just felt like because of who Quincy was, that Trei Taylor's performance was very memorable. And she was, we've not met in person, but I feel like we're homegirls because we talk on IG a lot. But it was just very memorable, and she interacted. And, I just feel like I got to know her. And, of course, as things are, as soon as I knew her name, her story, I've listened to so many more stories with her. Yes. Like, now I feel like she's everywhere. And good for you, sis. You just ought to be. You deserve it. You understood the assignment. You did that. You are my favorite new to me author of 2022. Narrator. I'm still all over the place. While we're on the subject of favorites, why not just hit them with our favorite female and male narrators of 2022?
Okay. Listen.
This was really hard for me. Was it hard for you?
This was extremely hard because I don't want you guys to feel like I only like a certain people, because I really love all the people.
Mm-hmm.
But because I have so many of the people, I was like, well, I can just pick these ones and it's okay. But so it's not that I love one more than the other. But this story that I chose for the best male narrator was Benefriends by Chencia Higgins. It was narrated by Emmanuel Ingram. It was 1 hour and 29 minutes. I tried to choose books where the narrators that I really like were the only ones narrating that story. And I think he did a really good job. Like, at some point, Emmanuel was everywhere. And now it's like he's really died down. So I'm hoping that he really does come back. You guys, this story was really cute. It was about a group of friends. They went to college together. And I mean, you hear Benefriends, better than friends, you know? and I usually don't like the friends to lovers, but this one was different. I really, really liked it. I felt like he put everything out there and he could stand on his own, and I really liked it.
And Chencia Higgins did a really good job writing the only male perspective.
Yes, and I don't realize that we don't get that enough. So I really liked that. So my best female narrator is Wesleigh Siobhan, because you are the baddest bitch, okay? And I picked Sweatpants Season by Danielle Allen, narrated by Wesleigh Siobhan. It was 9 hours and 17 minutes. She did not play. I mean, she was a one-woman show in this book, because I'm not going to tell you guys the story, but the main character has a group of friends, and she gave them all different voices for these men. I was just like, wow, that was the first time where I heard her be so many different men. And I was like, wow, you are really out here. She was phenomenal. I mean, I've heard her in a lot of stories and I really like her, but for some reason doing all those male characters, it really stood out to me to be like, wow, okay, sis, like, it's you for me. So it is Wesleigh and Emmanuel.
Nice. So my favorite female and male narrator, I actually did a different approach. I just did a book that they did together. And it was Wesleigh Siobhan and Jakobi Diem.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, girl, get off me. I do like them together.
I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan.
And they were really good in that one.
They're magic together. And this particular story,
who was she not magic with?
I was thinking that. This particular story, I felt that they got to really do their vocal chops, if you will, because it was so emotional and just, Miss Ryan, you wrote the heck out this story.
Yeah, she did.
And they read the heck out of it. Like, it touched on so much.
They performed.
And they did. You heard the sadness, the gut-wrenching pain. You laughed. You were like, frustrated with them. Like, it was so good. And they matched the energy. Everything Kennedy wanted the readers to get, they provoked. Like, these characters had so much personality and so much emotions to work through and to show, and past, present, like, just so much was going on, and they nailed it each and every time.
Yes, they did, honey.
Like,
yes, they did.
They are both so talented individually and together. And this book, I felt like, for me this year, really showed that. They killed this audiobook performance. Like, it just perfection.
Nothing else to say.
That this book, like, I really struggled with picking my favorites of this year, but this particular book really pushed it over for me.
Okay, I can see that.
Loved it.
I did too. I really did. I felt like they pushed the envelope with the emotion in that one.
Yes. So we keep talking about our favorite performance. But what about the production? The all-around production of the audiobook. Because let's be honest with us, audiobook listeners, we know all audiobooks are not created equal.
They are not.
Some just have that little extra spice, a little extra dash of sass to take it over like, oh, that was a good audible too. That was an okay one. Mm-hmm. So this category is our favorite audiobook production. Who you got? I'm so curious because you listen to so many audiobooks. Like, who gave the production?
So for me, this one was not hard. I have had a lot of good ones. I've heard a lot of good ones, but this one, she went above and beyond, like above. More, I loved it. And it was really short, and I don't usually like short ones. I needed more. That's how good it was. So I took 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 2, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. Asha, is that yours?
No, it's not.
Assassin. By
I thought about doing it though.
By Sheree Lynn. It was narrated by Ori Nash and John Joseph Rogers. It was 2 hours and 36 minutes. When I tell you ain't nobody fucking with them, they are becoming the standard for audio performers. Mm-hmm. They take it to an extreme production. You hear the turn of the keys for the car. You hear the honking, the footsteps, the accents that they do. I mean, the gruffness. This story was really cool because it was a different type of billionaire. It was an assassin, and like her, kind of like her handlers. It was really, really cool. It was like something that you would watch like on late night NBC. It made me think of Nikita. I don't know if you guys ever read The Family Nikita or watched that show, The Family Nikita.
I liked it. That's a good comparison.
And it was an amazing, and that's what they did. Like, it was literally watching it, hearing it through your ear.
Really good. Sheree Lynn did that.
And Ori Nash is so bomb, y'all. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's really bomb. This is a interracial story. It takes place overseas. Everything about it was just bomb, y'all. Like, I can't talk about it enough. I tell everyone, when you're looking for something different, that she is the way to go. I really, really, really enjoyed this one. Like,
yeah, it was really
really
good.
Enjoyed it.
Was really good. So, my favorite audiobook production was Love and War by Sheree Lynn, narrated by Ori Nash and John Rogers. That one was good too. So, it was all that, okay? And what's really funny about this is a historical fiction or a historical romance.
An interracial one at that.
And I don't know. And that's how I know Sheree Lynn did something, because what? Interracial historical romance? Yes. Loved it, all of it. It was a duet. And Sheree Lynn's audiobooks are like...
Oh, this was a duet as well.
Are slow, like you said, becoming the standard for me. Like, just as she's walking and you're hearing the background noise of the people talking, like, every little sound is just... And then the French accent, you know, you might want to listen to that when you're working on your French accent.
Listen.
Because Ori Nash had that down. And then not to forget about Mr. John Rogers, because that German accent, like, are you German, man, Mr. Sir? Because even just speaking the words, it was a production. Every little thing it was brought to life.
It was performance.
And this was another story that I read before I listened to the audiobook and loved. And it really stood out for me because, again, I don't really read historical romances that often, but I remember that story. I remember being transformed, and I will say the audiobook really takes the emotional levels up another notch.
It was an emotional story.
You know, so...
And it was really good, you
guys.
It
was so good. So I've had the audio, I've listened to it, and I was like, someday I was just randomly like, I really want to listen to that again. And I did, and I'm so glad I did, so that this could be my story. Like Victor, oh, I just love her, and I feel like Ari Nass captured everything that she was in my head. So sweet, so kind, so loving, just a freaking lady.
She was such a lady. I was literally about to say she was such a fucking lady.
They played no games with this audio. Like, every little thing was perfection. The story was already good. They just took it up 1,000 notches. Like, it was so amazing. And I really love Ari Nash because on her TikTok, y'all should go follow her. I will tag her. She gives you like behind the scenes things.
And it's so cool.
To see like her be herself and then to go into character.
And it's literally as if a cloak comes over her, and now she is a
like
new
puts
person.
a new helmet on and becomes a new person. Like, she's doing a voice, or she's doing a child, and she's like,
or
wait.
she'll be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Oh no, that's not it.
Yes,
and then she'll be like, ah, ha, 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 ha. It's so cool.
And she'll be like, okay, 3 different sides. And I was like, you better stop, Ari Nash. Like, it's just, it is a performance and a production. I actually thought about making this my favorite performance. But then once we actually broke down the difference between a production and a performance, I already knew this had to be it. Like, this
there is a difference.
It's a production from beginning to end. Even when it's opening up and it's like saying the name of the book and the name of the narrators and the author, there's music playing. It's already setting the mood. And if you can make me say one of my favorite reads of the year is a Nazi romance, you are killing the game, Trei Lynn. You are killing the game, Ari Nass and John Rogers. Like, perfection. This
it is that.
It's
it
perfection.
Is all of that.
It is perfection. Like, I highly recommend. Highly recommend. It was perfect. Like, I loved it.
I'm surprised that was one of your tops. You have literally 2 historicals in your top situation, and I've been trying to put you on.
That's what's crazy. That's what, and I decided, because someone was like, after I like rewatched the video and how excited she got that I did one of her rests, I was like, I got to do Forbidden.
Oh, Nikki, you're gonna love it.
So, but is that the first book in the series?
Yes.
Okay. See, I'm about to get hooked on the series. I already know.
You're gonna get hooked.
I'm gonna do it, and I can't wait. Like,
we don't
historical
talk about
romance
it, y'all.
is like trying to worm its way in. It's not there. Make no mistakes. I'm still not ready. I'm still not strong enough, because the type of girl I am, I get so emotionally attached to things, and like, I bleed when you cut. You know, it's real. So
maybe you need to go a certain year.
Yeah,
you shouldn't go down. There's a year that you shouldn't pass.
I think so. But this was beautiful. Like, Love and War, perfection, Trei Lynn. That audio though, that production, next level, hands down.
Perfect.
So I feel like us audio girlies don't always get seen as well as traditional readers. Like, you know, they'll ask, who's your Insta buy? Who you got? You know, they never ask, who's your Insta listen?
No, they do not.
But audio girlies, they know. You know, if you say a certain name, it's like, oh, I already got it. What? I didn't hear about that. I'm on my way. So it's only fitting that one of our categories is book picked just because of the narrator. Who you got?
So
this one I'm so interested, because like, who you got?
So this narrator, I don't care if it's interracial. I don't care if it's a shifter. I don't care if it's a vampire. I don't care what it is. If I see this name,
who you got?
I will be getting it. I'm not saying I've ever seen this narrator read any of those things. I'm just saying.
That's why I'm like, wait, who is it?
What I'm saying is, when I see this name, it's an automatic for me. I love this performer. Like, really, 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 really love. Okay. And the book that I chose to share this with you through is, y'all ready? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm really curious.
Back in the Day by Katrina Jackson. The reason that I chose this book, not because of the cover, which was really cool, but it was because Jakobi Diem was narrating it.
And he solo narrates that, correct?
Mm-hmm. It was 4 hours and 49 minutes. Y'all already know that this man is a performer.
I'm sorry, could I actually say it's only funny? I got sidetracked with your random question after all our questions were supposed to be done. But I was going to say, like, I'm so surprised back in the day wasn't on your list. Like, you were obsessed with that story. Like, it was all you talked about. Duh, it would make it into narrations. Duh.
So it's always going to be Jakobi for me. I think that nobody is fucking with him. He is not he created his own lane.
Yeah.
Like, he is his own niche. He is his own situation. Like, he doesn't have to compete with anybody else because he knows who he is. Mm-hmm. I feel like he only chooses stories that
I was about to say, I feel like he's very selective with what he does. Like, he sounds like the characters. Like, I think you're absolutely right. Like, he knows his craft.
Transformation. Mm-hmm. I love Jakobi Diem. And this story, for me, was so cool because it had a retro situation where it went back in the day, but then it came to present day. Mm-hmm. And it was more about a son and a father. And, I mean, it was all from a male's point of view. Everything about the story was perfect. It was pure perfection. Jakobi. Like, I mean, I cannot give this man more than what he already, I mean, there is not, he deserves an Audi for this too. Like, if you have not listened to this story, you have to. It is so heartwarming. It is so romantic. I mean, it is love.
Like, Jackson writes like that. And he reads like that.
And you guys know, this was actually, I don't want to know if it was my first time reading her or only my second time, but I didn't know how much I was going to obsess. And I actually thought this was an In a Dark romance. And I was like, Syretta, what is happening here? I paused and asked Jakobi, what's next? What is next, Jakobi?
Yeah, I paused and asked. You're a liar. You're afraid to ask Jakobi questions.
I asked him in my head, Nikki, and I'm not afraid to ask him questions. That is my story.
Interesting enough.
It's Jakobi for me.
Interesting enough.
Don't you dare tell me that.
We don't have the same.
Oh, I was going to say, don't you dare say that.
No, so I picked Stay With Me by Ginger House because my Insta-listen is always going to be Sean Kristen. Stay With Me was narrated by Sean Kristen and Mari. And Mari is also an instant listen, like, make no mistakes. But I really struggled with picking him or Jakobi because they're like my favorite male narrators.
Yes.
Like, others are definitely working their way up, but like those two, like, so I had to. And even though Zoe's story is my favorite in that series, he showed out as Brian. Like, with that man, it's just he showed out as Ryan, okay?
Can I say it, Nikki?
Yes.
He said, I ain't shit. My daddy ain't shit. I come from a long line of niggas that ain't shit.
And I knew my life was changed.
That was it. It was it.
I knew my life changed. And what's funny, the first time I heard Sean Kristen, he was an old white man.
He was.
And I never would have his voice is so transformative.
Is a transformer for real.
It's so transformative. Like, you have to truly know to know. Like, when you know. He is so transformative. His accents.
I haven't heard him do an accent that's not perfect yet.
Right.
Not once.
And even if he's speaking like as a woman in an accent, it's still like it's still that.
Accent. It is.
Like, it doesn't matter what book he's reading, like, I am here for it. But him as Ryan just was like,
yes, he was good.
It was a game changer. That's when I knew he became my person. Like, he performed. And he was the finger. Ryan was so nasty. He was so disrespectful. Like, I loved him. But even just doing something as simple as just kicking back and just hanging with Angie and just pumping his girl up or being ignorant or doing something nasty, like, it doesn't matter. even like, I feel like that series is so good because each of those men were so different, and he brought something different to each of them. Like,
and he had a Cajun or a Louisiana accent, right?
Yes.
Like Creole.
Creole, yes. It just perfection. Like, he did that. He will always be an instant listen for me. I love him.
I do too.
If you hear the cute little sound in the background, please bear with us. Our nephew is visiting, and he don't care about what we're doing, and that's being great.
Yeah, he don't care.
He doesn't. So, just like you got books that you love to just read because whatever reason makes you feel good, it just gets you right in the mood, you know, whatever it is. You have that book that does it for you. Well, we also have books, audios that do that for us. So, we will be discussing our favorite audiobooks that you listen to multiple times this year. What you got? Because you've listened to like 100 things 100 times. So is it going to be
Yes.
Muted Love?
Nope.
It's not Muted Love? Okay, so if it's not Muted Love, I'm going to put all my cards on the table and say it's Tomas and Cat.
So I do read Tomas and Cat.
It's not them?
Quite often. But no, it is not them.
Who is it?
So, I love Christmas, you guys. I love it so much. And this story is so perfect. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or New Year's or whatever it is. I just sometimes need it, okay? The story is Naughty and Nasty by Sabrina B. Steele. It is narrated by Jakobi, Diem, and Wesleigh, Siobhan, baby. It is 8 hours and 59 minutes. The cool thing about this book is you get 2 books, right? So I'm actually cheating on
for the audiobook, yes.
It's combined. So it is bomb, you guys. I love it, love it, love it, love it. They play so good off of each other. It is everything. So because there is 2 books inside this one book, I'm gonna give y'all the 2 chapters that I love. So very first chapter is chapter 1. Because in chapter 1, baby, it sets the tone because you like, oh, this is the kind of story this is. Oh. Yeah, it's like that, okay? And then, so when it comes to Nasty, y'all, this story, it is so purposeful. It is so awesome. It's like she intertwines her world at this point. I really, really, really loved it. So I need y'all to understand that it is chapter 7 for me. Chapter 7 is so like that, okay? When I tell you, it is something about somebody looking at you and being like, so you gonna disrespect me tonight? And we not together. Okay, that's it. That's all.
Yeah, it's that energy.
It's that energy. And Jakobi, it's because this is a younger man, older woman trope. And it was like Jakobi was a young man. Like he even had a little lilt in his voice, like to be younger. It was on point. And Wesleigh had all of the sass of an older woman that don't got time and don't give a fuck. Okay? It was bomb. And I listened to it. I actually listened to it this morning.
Okay, so interesting. Mine's is a little different, and it's only funny that this is on my list because one thing I don't like is how do you say it?
Post-apocalyptic.
Thank you.
Am I saying it around? Post-apocalyptic.
Yes. I don't like that. I know the story. Like so down and depressing. Like it just, I don't normally
and
read
black
those.
people don't survive. We don't make it to the end.
I just normally don't read those. I normally don't watch it. Like it's just not my thing. But Miss CCJ,
I knew it.
She made it my thing with Wonder.
I knew it. Yes, she did.
Wonder was narrated by Sean Kristen and Wesleigh Siobhan. Like, you're right. Who doesn't she work with and make?
She go with everybody real bad. She's really
bad. So again, Sean Kristen, instant listen, right? But then CCJ, instant read, right? Magic. And what was so great is, again, this is something that I normally wouldn't be interested in. And then she gave it an Alice in Wonderland twist.
Perfect.
Like, the world she built was just like, and perfect, right? Because I was going to put this on my list, but I'm like, no, it can be an audio. I can have the best of both worlds. So I know what you mean about having the best of both worlds, because that's how I felt with this one, okay? Oh, I loved it. Like, certain things you can listen, like, know a character and be like, I don't know if so-and-so will do it. Not that they wouldn't do it great, not that they wouldn't be amazing, but some people just have a sound. And Sean Christian was Maddox. Like, he was it. He had, like, just
a hood adjacent situation going.
But then still being, like, a knight and shining armor. Like, it was brilliant. Like, it was perfect. Like, there is no other way of describing it. And listen to it all the time. They don't want to count it on my Kindle, though, even though it's Whisper Sing, but that's a whole other issue, right? But I listen to it all the time. Their voices together in this story just fit the characters. And Allie as Wesleigh, like, I feel like Wesleigh was the perfect one to play her, because in the beginning, Allie's a little naive and ditzy, but she goes through this transformation as the story progresses, and Wesley's voice changes as it progresses, but it still sounds like her. Like, she, even being the little sister, like the different voices or all these other characters.
And that bitch Bunny.
Yes. Wesleigh did that. She sounded like a little girl. Then she sounded like a young lady learning life in a crash course. Like, she did such a phenomenal job. Both of them. Like, I love this story. And
that's a good one.
It's so good. Like, they did a phenomenal job. And I truly am amazed with Wesleigh and just narrators in general, because if you don't know, you don't know. But you get what I'm saying when I say her voice transformed, her voice grew in a perfect way with the story.
Yeah, it was a complete transition. Like,
yes, as the story progressed. And it is an art form to be able to do that.
Yes. She's talented.
But just anyone, like any narrator, when you know it, you know it. You can hear, like, the growth. When you talk about, like, oh, I felt the sadness, I heard it. It's an art form.
It is.
Anyone could read a book, but they make it art.
They perform it, for sure.
And that's what they did in this one. Like, perfection. And I didn't cry reading this one, so bam. So, I know we already did it for our favorite books, favorite series. However, you reading girlies know, and my audiobooks girlies know, that it's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
Something you read, the series, great, whatever, but sometimes it's the audio that really pulls you in. It's a difference. If you don't know, then you probably don't listen to audiobooks.
Right. Because there's a tone.
There is. And sometimes it's that audio that really pushes it over. Not that the writing isn't amazing, but sometimes the audio just pushes it a little bit. So we're going to do our favorite audiobook series of 2022. So, I'm actually going to interrupt you because my favorite audiobook series is actually Black Series by Joan Vassar by Joan Diem.
Girl!
I know what y'all are thinking. I know. But listen, hear me out.
That you're not creative.
No other series touched it. I'm sorry. No other series I read touched it. On top of, also, I didn't actually read any full audio series this year except for that one. Either the book wasn't completely on audio, or I didn't read the other books in the series on audio this year. So, truthfully, no other series touched it because I didn't read any other, a full, complete series.
So, are you going to tell us more about?
Oh, yes. I have other reasons. Number one, because y'all already know Jakobi did that. Number two, because I live for this series. Okay. Number three, it's because as a mood reader, I can respect a story that I can read no matter what mood I'm in. I never get a mind shift because it gives you everything you want. I can read it in any mood. I want a little edge. I put on James, you know? I want some intellectualness. I put on Black. I want that act, right? I put on Albert. You know, I want some romance, some finesse. I put on Albert. I want to cry. I put on The Fort. you know, it just gives me everything. And then I just want that, like, why did you write Anthony? I put on Anthony. It gives me everything. And my last reason is because I'm always going to recommend it.
That was 4 reasons.
Yeah, I gave you 4. You want some more? I can rip out some more.
Can I go now?
Sure.
So my next series,
Was your series also black?
Let me tell them.
Okay.
So I was torn between 2 series.
And I know it seems like I have a lot of Jakobi on my list. That's just happenstance, you know. I can't control what I listen to. I mean, technically I can, but I'm working on doing better. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. So, I was torn between 2 series. They are the same author, but
are they the same narrators?
One of them is. I was really torn. So I was like, Syretta, just do it. And I was like, but no, back and forth. I wanted to choose Them Boys by Miss Alexandra House.
It's shoe for me.
I mean,
it is shoe for me.
It's literally I'm not going to give y'all the chapter. I'm not going to give y'all the chapter. Just know it happens in the kitchen. And he says that him and his dick are no longer mad at her anymore. Education purposes.
Issue. I love me a silent. Just take it there. Ninja. Whoo. I love that man. At first, I did think it was Ja, but I learned Ja was just a crush. She was my soulmate.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So
who did you go with?
The series that I chose was The McLean Brothers by Miss Alexandra
I should have guessed that. Kat and Tomas are still on there.
It was narrated by Jakobi Diem and Adenrele Ojo.
Adenrele
Ojo is like that, y'all. She's really good. She was the women of this series.
Yes.
It was like it was written for her.
She also really killed the Yoroma You series. Had I have read Touch Me this year and not just Temper Me and Tease Me, I might have picked that for my favorite series.
You are interrupting to talk about books you didn't even read. You can't talk about what you...
Fair point. That's a fair point.
So can I finish or no?
If you must.
So all together, there was 5 books. So they were 36 hours and 38 minutes long. I loved it, you guys.
How could you not?
You got siblings. And it gave you everything. You know, you got one that wasn't together. You got one that only liked the Svetlanas. You got one that was the older brother.
Not the Svetlana.
You got one that was the younger brother that looked up to his older brothers. And then you got Kat, baby doll. Listen. It was hard for me not to choose Kat as my constant read. I'm just going to tell y'all it's chapter 8 for me. It's always going to be chapter 8 for me. I'm not going to tell y'all all of chapter 8, but I will give you a little snippet. I'm
about to say, what happens in chapter 8?
In chapter 8, baby, Kat decides she needs to go to the restroom because she's tired.
Oh, okay.
So
we're going to tell everybody. Okay.
I'm going to give y'all spoilers. Normally I don't do that, but today I'm going to do it. Okay. So she's about to shut the door, and all of a sudden somebody big, she called him Baku of the Jabari tribe. What are you doing here? He says, all up in that nigga face, huh? He literally says to her, no joke, what were you doing on that dance floor? And she was like, dancing. I didn't know it was illegal.
Who was she dancing with, though?
She was dancing with none other than Dravion motherfucking Walker.
He had a reason.
Hey, he was like, hey, Kat. And he was dancing way too slow for the song. Tommy didn't like it. He was giving them so many signals. There were no signals. You were mad. She says, what? Get out of here. You hit it and quit it twice. You don't want me. Move on. He said, I thought. And she said, you thought or you think? Because he reassigned himself. And he was like, but I miss you, baby. And Kat was on hush, y'all, because let me tell you one thing. One thing about Kat is she always got something to say. But she was real quiet.
Because she missed him, too.
She missed him, too, until Tomas started speaking that good Spanish. And it's history. It's history. So yeah, this whole series was like that. I really loved it.
I love the McLean series.
We have 5 siblings. You can just find your family in this series. You know, everybody's got that one uncle, that crazy auntie, the sister that thinks she knows everything, the brother that wants to protect everybody. Everything about it was really perfect. And I'm gonna just slide in there real quick. Neil, it will always be you for me. It will always be you for me. You are perfect. You are so loving. You are just,
You're also Sage's.
He ain't Sage's. I let Sage have him because I didn't want her to get deported.
I wasn't ready. You like that, sister. You like that.
She's welcome.
So, it's important talking all audiobooks. I know we said we couldn't narrow it down, but you have to at least pick one just because it's an audio, right? So, this is going to be our favorite audiobook of 2022. Who you got? I'm so curious.
Listen, y'all, it was hard because there were so many. Like, everybody came with it, y'all. There were even people that I had never even knew had audiobooks that were popping up. Everyone came with it. This one truly took me to a level of, oh my God, who am I going to pick? What am I going to do? Who is it? Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Is y'all ready?
Give it to us.
It was the Black series. I don't have
You pick a whole series. You can only pick one book.
Listen, baby.
At least I kept it consistent.
You do you, but I'm going to do me, okay? It was the series for me, okay? If y'all need me to let you know, it was by Joan Vassar. It was narrated by Jakobi Diem. There were 5 books in this series, and altogether it was 76 hours and 17 minutes. I don't think I need to tell y'all this. I think you guys can choose yourself. But this was phenomenal, you guys. It was really hard, and it was a serious toss-up between the Muted Love series, y'all. It was a toss-up, but then I thought, you know what, Syretta, you're okay. Why? Because we're going to get Tori and Ashton in the first one. It was really hard for me because I was like, but wait, what about Raji? Hold on. But what about
I'm
Lord?
surprised Raji didn't make your list.
But what, I mean, y'all, it was hard to not choose all my favorites, but it was this series for me. I have to say, the writing was superb. The actual narration was beyond. This series for me was everything. And it's really hard because I truly love historical fiction. And I usually don't, there's a year that I don't usually dabble in. There's a certain year that I'm not even gonna give y'all a year, but just know I don't usually go there. So to actually read about enslaved people, because I usually like my people to be free, okay? So, and it still captivated me. I love the mixture of real life and a little bit of fiction. I love the characters. I truly thought that nothing for me this year competed with this. So.
Nothing at all. Good one. So my favorite audiobook.
You better not say it. You're not creative at all. You didn't even fucking try. If you say the Black series, Nikki, you didn't fucking try.
You don't know what I did. You can't tell me what's my favorite, okay? It was actually Personal St. Louis like Conflict 3 by Chencia. Narrated by Jakobi Diem and Wesleigh Siobhan.
Didn't you pick Personal last night? You uncreative bitch.
Listen, let me tell you how good the story is. It stands alone as a written artwork. And then here's the audio. It's like, wow, I was missing so much. But see, the great thing about it is I got different reasons why it's on this list than that list.
Do tell, my love.
Okay. I was super excited it came to audio. The whole story was banging, but I already knew that they were going to elevate it. They did phenomenal work with the previous 2 books. Like, Polo, Kendra, like, they showed out, okay? Make no mistake.
I love Paul Logan.
Stevie, they did good with Stevie and Dravion.
I do.
But Polo and Kendra's story was so different. It was so different from anything I've read. And as you guys now know, we love unconventional love stories, unconventional romance. Like, that story hit so many emotional triggers for me, and they performed it well. So I already knew, like, that they were going to elevate this story
Who did you actually
completely
pick?
different levels. Huh?
Who did you pick?
It's my favorite audiobook is Personal.
You see how you talked about me for doing a series, and you literally just took time to talk about each book in that series?
Because it pertains to this.
Okay.
It pertains to this, because that's my number one. I knew it was going to be elevated, and I had facts and examples and history to prove it.
Okay.
Number two, I adore them, and this audiobook just made me love them more.
Okay.
So much more. Okay. Because, again, I had read this already. And I tend to, like, if I know the story is going to come to audio eventually, I like to wait for the audio.
Mm-hmm.
For one, I just like to hear it. And then two, because then we can read it together.
Mm-hmm.
But certain ones, I ain't going to wait. You know?
Yeah.
But, I don't want to go in already having a thought process, already critiquing the narrators, because that's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'm only human. So I already knew, like, it doesn't matter. They're going to make it perfection. It's Jakobi and it's Wesleigh. Like, you can't go wrong. Mm-hmm. There could be nothing wrong. And I know I love this story. And I know they get the characters because they're them and they'll do it perfection. Now, listen. When I read this story the first time, I read it to us. Okay?
She did.
I read it with my whole heart and my whole soul. Okay? My whole being. Okay? I gave it everything I had because that's how much I love Armand. And that's how much I love Ella. But when I tell y'all that my best was not what they did, it wasn't good enough. Okay? It's okay. I know the truth. Okay? They brought it out. Like,
This is gonna make me cry because she actually was like, I'll never read it again. Yeah. They were like,
they truly embodied Armand and Ella. And like the torturedness of them, the broken, the beauty, the put together, the romance, like every little layer, they did it phenomenally. Like, they are for, stop laughing, okay? It's not that funny.
You're just switching around the same words.
They did amazing. It's just, it was perfect. This was perfect. I loved everything about it.
Next year, y'all, we're gonna have a rule.
I don't want rules.
I'm just saying.
You can't put me in a box for my favorites of a year.
Okay, you're right. You can do whatever you want to do.
I actually considered putting this in my re-listen, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, so. That's my favorite audiobook of 2022. Also, was it my favorite?
It was your fucking, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hold true. I'm an honest reader.
No,
okay.
I think it was your auto buy.
It was that too. I'm an honest reader. And honest, I got it off her website, like Honest Reader.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I then also proceeded to buy it off of Audible and Amazon because I needed the Whisper Sync when it was available.
And I appreciated you for that.
Hi, my name's Unique and I have a problem.
Mm-hmm. You do?
I love Whisper Sync.
Stupid. You dumb bitch, you.
This video is not.
Bitch.
She's calling me mean words and saying mean things to me, but it's not bullying.
Oh
it's for educational purposes. So that you guys can know how she feels when I upset her. It's all educational. These are educational tears.
You dumb motherfucker. I hate her. I really fucking hate her.
Those feelings are also for educational purposes. It's not bullying.
My sister, everyone.
So my favorite audiobook of 2022, Personal. by Miss Alexandra House, narrated by Jakobi, Diem, and Wesleigh, Siobhan.
I hate you. I do. I really fucking do.
It's not bullying, guys. Don't worry. I've been conditioned my whole life for this.
Bitch, you want them to watch you laugh? Get some control. I can't.
Listen, I had to do it because I don't want people to think, oh, that girl's a monster. She's a bully. Look at that sweet girl just loving a book. She's being attacked for it.
So, you're right. Because people want to see whatever they want to see. You're right. Thank you for doing that for me.
You're welcome. Okay. Here it is, guys.
The last book of the night.
The last book of the night. And obviously, because we are what? Black romance readers. We had to do our last category, the most romantic audiobook of the year. This was hard, but it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I knew who my most romantic read was gonna be since January. I'm just gonna go first and say, oh my God, please don't say it's Albert. It's Albert the Unfinished Mind. Black Series Book 2 by Joan Vassar, narrated by Jakobi.
Because I'm not a bully, I am not going to tell you that you are the most unfucking creative person at this table.
Listen.
I am not going to tell you that you didn't even fucking try on your own challenge. You came up with these categories.
But what you're saying isn't true. I've read some really romantic stuff. I really have. Nothing was more romantic than Albert.
It's not about a man that will kill for you.
That's literally on my list. Listen, and see, it's different because I haven't broken down the series yet.
She doesn't even try real hard to pick audiobooks this year.
Anyways,
she ain't.
Number one, because Albert and Miss Anna are life.
They are everything.
They are life. I love them. Okay, this story open. I don't normally do this, but since Syretta started, I'm gonna just go. It opens up with free slaves getting put back into slavery.
Free slaves.
Can we redo that?
That's a blooper, bitch.
It opens up with free people. Wow. See, you got me all discombobulated. It opens up.
In truth, Albert is a runaway. Anna was born free.
He's free. Okay.
Well, not
and they
in
were
your
kidnapped back into slavery. Back into slavery. You had me all discombobulated with the dance. I wasn't ready. So, and immediately I was hooked. Like, Miss Vassar has. I'm so sorry, guys. It's New Year's. We're in Vegas. It's gonna be a wild night.
Yeah, these are some wild boys out here.
Miss Joan has stuffing me up, right? Or so I thought. So I go in to the prologue. I'm ready. I'm like, oh my God. I thought my armor was strong, but she found the nick and she broke through. I cried when they were taken back to slavery, even though they had been free. And it just opens up so sweet and romantic. And at that moment, they had me. But then Albert really brought it home. A man that will kill for you is rare, beautiful, sexy thing. But a man that will kill for you to have a peace of mind, like the things Albert goes through in this story was just beyond.
It was true torture.
It was beyond. And again, it's not a conventional romance. And that's what I love about it. It wasn't a conventional love story. That's what I loved about it. Like,
this story was far more romantic than I thought it would be.
yes, and you don't think meeting Albert in book 1 in Black
with his dead ass eyes.
You don't think, but he is romantic. And it's not even just large gestures. It's just little things that he does. It's so romantic. And then it's also that I'm killing these men so that you know they will never
bother you again, my
never.
love.
You have nothing to fear, baby. Like a man that will kill for you. Ooh, you talk about loving historical romance because of the men of their time. That is a man of his time. I'm going to build you your house. I'm going to cut the firewood. I'm going to bring the animal home for you to kill and cook, baby. And then I'm going to also bring them animals that hurt you. So that you know you ain't got to worry about it. Like, I just fell in love with them throughout the story. And I loved watching Elbert evolve from
This was a very romantic story.
It really was. I love watching him
but
evolve.
I do feel like you
evolved.
Didn't really work at it at all.
Listen. You can say what you want. I knew after reading this book, he was going to be my most romantic
Wait till
read.
you see mine, though.
He was going to be my most romantic read. I've read some really... cheating, because bookmarked was really good. That's why I made it. But I knew that if we had only did one category, I'm sorry. I love bookmark. I love Belly J. This was going to be it. Hands down. Watching him change from just being attracted to Miss Anna to being madly in love with her and seeing that love be reciprocated. Like...
Chapter 3.
It was
3.
It was beautiful. It was beautifully written. It was beautifully narrated. Like, it was everything. Miss Anna was just such a lady. And Jakobi read her like she's such a freaking lady. First time I had 2 pages. Y'all weren't ready for that. Elbert is the man. Jakobi never loses that. And it's so cool because it's like Elbert has a tone that he uses just for Miss Anna. And it still sounds like Elbert. How do you do that, Jakobi? Like, how? Like, all these men, hardened as they are, real ride out as they are, still have mannerisms and tones that you hear in Jakobi's voice.
It's something about a man having a tone reserved just for you.
It's just so romantic. And I don't know how he changed his tone but still kept his voice. It's just magic. This book was beyond. And Jakobi was beyond reading it. Mm-hmm. This story will forever be one of my favorites. And it will always be on my top 5 most romantic stories. I don't care.
Not the...
Mic drop. That's it. That is the message. And you see, they're going to think, look at her bullying that sweet girl over such a beautiful story. I'm tough, guys. She can't hurt me no more. Who you got?
So this story was so romantic. It is something about a man.
If it's forbidden, I'm going to go off because then that's lazy.
It's something about a man that is okay and comfortable enough in himself to let you shine. It is something about a man that knows you are his regardless to if anybody else knows. It is something about a man that will fight your battles, okay?
Excuse me. Oh, this sounds like something I want to read.
The story that I chose was Held in Contempt by Eva Cherie.
Oh, that's a really good one.
It was narrated.
My obsession did that.
It was narrated by Emmanuel, Ingram, and Wesleigh, Siobhan. It was only 1 hour and 42 minutes, y'all.
That is a really good one.
And when I tell you that this story was more than enough.
That's a really
good one. It was
one.
so profound. Mm-hmm. It was somebody saying, you don't have to fight no more, baby. I'm going to handle this now.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
And it was something about a woman being able to, a strong woman, being able to be like, okay, daddy, it's your turn.
The right man can make any woman submit.
You just have to be. And what I like
is
that they don't want you to be submissive.
No.
He didn't want her to be anything but herself. Mm-hmm. And he was okay with playing the background so that she could shine and do what she had to do so that she can climb that corporate ladder. But when it came down to it, he said, you will not
play with this
one.
Not this one.
And to me, it was so romantic because he fought her battles in an educated way. Mm-hmm. He fought her battles in a way that a person that was so low and so fucking slimy. The only way that person
we're talking about book characters. You know, it's
the only way that person could have understood He put that shit out there and was like, this one right here, you gonna put some respect on this one's name.
If you gonna come correct.
And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It is something about a black man protecting a black woman.
It's so sexy.
It is so sexy. And protecting her because that's what you are to do as a man. That's it. That's all.
That's the message. That was a good one.
Thank you.
I see you, ho.
Yes. I hope so.
Educational purposes, not bullying.
Okay. Yes. So that was it for us, you guys. We have nothing else. Nothing. Like, what book did you really want to put on your list, but it couldn't make it?
What book?
What?
I literally just had it in my head. Hold on. You say yours. I literally just had it in my head.
You can't ask me to say mine.
Hold on. I have to think. I need a second. I literally just had it in my head because I was going to ask you, but now I can't think of it.
Baggage Claim by Alexandra Warren.
You know what? That was not the one I was thinking about, but I did fight over putting that one on there as well.
That Baggage Claim was it. It was it. It was such a good story. She didn't play no games with y'all. That if we had 11, that would have been it for me.
That was a good one. I consider playing that one too. I can't remember what it is. That's so crazy. Hold on.
I mean,
it'd probably be Unfortunately Francine.
Baby.
It'd probably be Unfortunately Francine.
Jakobi and is it Nicole Smalls? They're not playing. They're not playing. Do
you know which one? Sorry. I didn't read it this year, so I didn't even consider it. But you know which one I really do wish I would have read? Real by Kennedy Ryan. That was a phenomenal audiobook.
Yes. And they won an Audie for that, and they deserved it.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal audiobook.
Y'all, I don't know what next year brings for us, but I know that it's going to bring a lot more audiobooks. I know it's going to bring new authors to us. I know it's going to elevate. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, to listen to us, and just for the support. We truly thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Your sisters love you. Okay?
And we appreciate you.
So, real quick, last time this year.
Keep sipping.
And stay tipsy. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. Ring-a-ding-ding-ding.
Bye, guys.
Bye.